in your big career, it's only a very small time period, but that time you were with the World Wrestling Federation was very eventful. And there's some really interesting things I wanted to ask you about. First of which was, how does it wind up that you enter the World Wrestling Federation, at the kind of birth of the Attitude Era, really? Who negotiates with who? Who does Vince McMahon approach you? Do you approach WWF?
No. Again, it was I dealt with probably Jim Ross.
Right.
It's who I was dealing with primarily in the beginning. It was kind of unique because I was first approached by WWF, and Jim Ross was basically the person I was speaking to. And then they basically at first they were looking at this crazy type schedule, and I'm like going, I'm not looking to be on the road that many days. I said, because it's like I don't want to put all my eggs in one basket unless they're going to pay me a shitload of money, okay, or something like that. I mean, I kept it kind of real with him, and it was after I did my first meeting. Well, WCW caught wind, and then I go. Eric Bischoff and a couple other in the organization, they brought me in, and so now I'm talking to them, and they're looking at that kind of a much bigger push for me. Well, Vince and the WWF must have caught wind of this. Again, I don't know, because I didn't tell nobody. I'm negotiating. I'm having meeting with either or, but they caught wind, and basically, they came back to me again, and they gave me all what I was looking for. I was looking for a much more limited schedule. Mm-hmm. I wanted to know ahead of time what my schedule was, because Ben, I'm going to be probably one of the most unique people, because it's like going, I was running, I had multiple lifestyles I was leading there. I had my schedule ahead of time, and I could actually contact travel. The very first time I went on a gig for the WWF, I stayed at the hotel that all the other wrestlers stayed at. And when when the show was over, I'm going back into the lobby. There's all kinds of fans, because they found out where all the wrestlers are staying, and there are all kinds of fans are just hanging in there. And then there's all kinds of ring rats and things of that nature. And I think you know what I'm talking about there. Yeah. But it's like, and I'm like going, this is not what I'm looking for. So from after that first time, I would always find out, where is everybody else staying? I stayed somewhere else, but then I would fly into a city earlier that day or the day before, and but ahead of time I will have set up maybe an amateur wrestling clinic, maybe a submission grappling clinic or something like that. I set up something to do the day before. Then I would go to the or maybe something even that following morning. Because again, I go to different high schools and do like these little school assemblies and things of nature for I do something there. Then I go do my business with the for the WWF. And then when the show was done, I would go to a sports bar, something like that, and then do an appearance at a sports bar. So my 24 hours is gone. Whereas the standard wrestler over there made one payday. My 24 hours is gone, but I'm pulling down 2, 3, 4 or more paydays.
Do you think that impacted you from day one with the WWF and with Vince McMahon? Because I've always had the impression that really, once you're with the WWF, you're kind of on their dime.
Well, I mean, but again, this internet era, they didn't know about all the stuff. And again, I'm sure, well, I mean, during those same days, I'm still getting a workout in, because I know I'm still on the fighting scene. Even though I'm working for them, I'm not exclusive to them. That's part of I'm not exclusive to you. I'm working for the NWA already.
Yeah.
I'm going to continue working with the NWA. I'm probably the first professional wrestler that was not limited to simply just working for just them.
That's right. Yeah, with the WWF/WWE, that's really, really unique to not be exclusive.
Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Shawn Michaels, the Undertaker, they were all products of Vince McMahon, the creative team, and all that. It's like going, and they're working for only one company, not me.
Yeah. So I think it's fascinating because obviously you come in and the first time that WWF fans are introduced to you, obviously, is you're NWA champion. You're doing commentary for Ken Shamrock's match against Billy Gunn. The two of you have a stare down afterwards. Then you shake hands. I'm guessing the plan from day one was the UFC dream match between you and Shamrock.
Yeah. In the professional wrestling arena, there was a group between Owen Hart, Steve Blackman, Ken Shamrock, and myself that we were kind of known as the shooters.
Mm-hmm.
And we just there's I think a couple of times where we actually all walked out together as a contingency. So it's getting, but there's never the Godfather had his group of cronies and stuff like that, or other groups that had their groups of cronies and stuff like that. But no, we just been put into that category. So as I stated earlier, I did not really know how much control I had over my character. I figured they got a creative team. Obviously, they brought me here. They're paying me good money. They must have an idea as to how they want to use me. I mean, I always tell people that I was Brock Lesnar before there was ever a Brock Lesnar,
I feel like at the time you came in, there were so many different moving parts happening. There was such a busy, bustling product with nowhere near the amount of TV time either that there is now. Everything was really happening on a 1-2 hour show a week with some of the biggest names that have ever been in wrestling all on that roster at the same time. There was a lot happening in 1998 in the WWF.
Yeah, no, there was so much interaction because WCW was kicking Vince's butt in the ratings.
Yeah,
but it was one of the funnest times because Vince was pushing the envelope and what they're doing. It's like WCW had Goldberg, and then WWF counters with we've got Gilbert. The guy has no muscle tone and stuff like that. I mean, there was comedic type of thing. It was actually a very fun time because of how they were really coming out at the seams in so many different ways. It was actually a fun time.
Did you enjoy your time with the WWF?
Well, just simply say that. Like I would be there, and again, it's like when especially in the very beginning, I'm all dressed up. I'm in my costume. I'm backstage, but there's a chalkboard there, and the matches are laid up there, but they only have so much match time, and that's where a lot of people understand. There's a weekly show that leads up to a monthly pay-per-view. That's where they're making money that night because people paid tickets to go for this, but they're going to make even more money on the night of a pay-per-view. Yeah. Because not only do they have the arena, but now they have all these pay-per-view buys. So there's, again, let's say if there's average of 7 matches, there's at least 14 people, but sometimes there's tag teams and other stuff in there. Let's say there's going to be 25 to 30 people. That's going to be on that potential pay-per-view. But we all know, Ben, in the next 30 days, somebody is going to get hurt. Mm. Somebody's going to get sick. Something's going to happen in their personal life. You can't deal with that many people and not have things happen. I've been hurt far worse in my professional wrestling career than my other two things. It was safer for me to be a cage fighter. It was safer for me to be the amateur wrestler.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, because you are putting your body into another person's hands. Because a lot of people say, well, professionals is fake. I go, no, we are putting on a show, a very physical show where things go wrong. malfunction of equipment may happen at times. Rings break, ropes break, all kinds of stuff happen in the process there. You just don't know when that is going to happen. So, people like when they're doing these hardcore matches, it's hard to show, hitting a barbed wire fence or going to a barbed wire table. The hardcore matches, I always thought, I watched them like going, geez, Pete. I mean, like Cactus Jack, a.k.a. Mick Foley, a.k.a. Mankind. I tend to break his name up because what a comical life he must have led, being those three different characters. And I remember watching the one night where he was in whatever pay-per-view, but he got thrown out 3 different times. He ran out as one.
I think it was Royal Rumble. Yeah, I think he came back into all his characters.
Out, go out next, get thrown out, go and change again, to get thrown out again. No, but that's to think about what he did. And again, he's a very colorful, comedic type of person. He can tell good stories and stuff like that. But I mean, this will sound bad, but it's not meant to be bad. But he was not exactly what you call a physical specimen.
No, I think by his own admission, he'd admit that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he had, I'll say, kind of a frumpy, dumpy kind of a body. Again, I'm not saying it, but I did to explain that to fans. I love Mick Foley to death. But again, he was never going to be out there sporting, the body of Adonis type. Like, no, ain't gonna happen. So, but what again? The fact that he was doing it, but then when he came up with other characters like Mr. Sacco. Oh my God, genius! One of the person along that same line would be like Al Snow, aka Al Sarvin, who actually has the mannequin's head. Al Snow was actually one of the people I did my training with originally for my professionals, stuff like that. And my very first match I ever had with him, because they're teaching all the psychology of the heel, of the babyface. My very first professional wrestling match ever is held in a prison yard.
Really?
At a correctional facility, in an actual prison. You got armed guards that are standing around, and I'm out there wrestling, and I'm wrestling Al Snow underneath the hood and mask, the whole 9 yards. That's my first match, and everything that he taught me in his training facility, none of it worked, because the convicts are all booing the baby faces, and they're cheering the heels when it should be the other way around. I'm like, even out there, I go, Al, none of these things that you taught me is working here at whatsoever. He's just like, he goes, this is not the crowd. This is not the crowd.
No, the wrong dynamic. But I mean, Al has trained so many people. He's got an incredible mind for business. I think people overlook just actually how long Al Snow has been in the business, since like 1982. Like, he is genuinely done it all. Incredible guy.
Very sharp, very funny guy.
Yeah.
Too. I can't say enough good things about Al.